Are you being lazy here? Are you truly interested in losing your job? When I was eventually employed by the company after a difficult job hunt, I was met with the icy stare of Jessica, the president's gorgeous daughter. If you can't do the job, come with me. I was taken to a location where the company was on the brink of collapse. I was involved in an incident there. I recognized the offender's face. I applied my unique talent to assist Jessica during her time of need. I had no idea how it might alter our relationship. Jessica was cold, so I was surprised when she abruptly changed her mind and came closer to me. Hey, can you stay with me tonight? That is incorrect. Haven't I said the same thing to you before? When Lisa, a senior employee, pointed out errors in my documentation, I lowered my head in humility. I apologize. I'll take care of it immediately. To be honest, I had no idea what was wrong. It's important in these situations to own up to your mistakes and offer an apology right away, but she saw through it as well. Chris, you think just apologizing is enough, don't you? I'm sorry. You see, you can't do the job because of this. This time, pay close attention. Write it this way. One of Lisa's distinguishing characteristics is her bluntness. She even referred to me as useless in front of me once. In fact, though, I value her candor. It's preferable to being abruptly and unexpectedly abandoned one day. I'm 25 years old, and my name is Chris. I currently work as a clerk at Anderson Travel, a small travel firm. It has been 2 months and 13 days since I began working here. My prior employment was in a completely different industry than a travel agency. But here I am, because I was so desperate at the time. Chris, why did you choose our company? Oh, well, What do you think are your strengths and weaknesses? Strengths? I apologize, but I'm not sure. That's enough. This is how my job search has always been. My poor communication skills have caused me to flunk interviews at numerous companies. Ultimately, I was only employed by Anderson Travel. I applied for every job I could find because I couldn't afford to be selective, and I eventually found a job in a travel agency. However, I was immediately threatened with unemployment once more after I joined. As they hired someone like you, maybe I should start preparing to jump ship too. Jump ship. Job hunting is a competition to determine if the company will file for bankruptcy first or if every employee will quit first. In any case, the days of this company are coming to an end. It's incredibly hard to find a job at a business like this. On the company computer, Lisa laughed and navigated to a job search website. No success. I felt she might be right and went back to my desk. The business I just almost was recruited by was already doing badly financially. In the office, it was common knowledge that bankruptcy may occur at any time. We used to broadcast numerous TV ads. There isn't much left to see, but I do recall seeing them. It appears that the company's president, Mr. Anderson, has given up and is no longer actively involved in management. I heard the staff members' voices once more in the afternoon as I chanced to be strolling down the corridor. Nobody is afraid to speak candidly about the company's internal problems because it is widely known that it is on the verge of going out of business. So who's running the company now? It happened when they were looking at each other. Who authorized an extended lunch break? A piercing, authoritative voice reverberated around the corridor. Every employee jumped in surprise. The voice's owner, approaching them with a click of heels, was, "Give your name and department. This will be taken into consideration for the next layoffs." The person speaking with such a cold expression was someone everyone knew. Her large eyes, small face, and petite frame made her look cute, like an idol popular among the male employees. But her personality was cold and arrogant. Indeed, she was infamous for being heartless. She was Jessica, the only daughter of Mr. Anderson and the next president of this company at 28 years old. You all just need to do your jobs. There's no need to think about who's running the company. Or are you suggesting that I can't handle the job in place of Mr. Anderson? No, not at all. It's fine. Say it clearly, just like you were gossiping so energetically earlier. Go on. Jessica peered down at them with an expressionless glare that was enough to make the employees scream and run away. Only Jessica and I, who had nothing to do with it, were left behind. So, are you slacking off too? Department and name. I'm, Her large eyes turned towards me, and I, already weak in unexpected situations, looked down, flustered. Seeing this, Jessica sighed. Just kidding. You're Chris from the clerical department, right? What? I don't know about my father, but I believe it's essential to know every employee's name to determine if they are useful to the company or not too. Judging from your reaction, you won't understand unless I say it clearly. You belong to the latter category. I knew of Jessica's reputation, but this was the first time we spoke face to face. She was even more blunt than I imagined, and even more so than my mentor, Lisa. She spoke without changing her expression, completely emotionless. If you can't do the job, there's no reason to keep you in the company. Huh. Not understanding her words immediately, I stared directly at Jessica. She met my gaze head-on and said firmly, You're coming with me tomorrow. The next day, she drove me in the company car to the mountains 2 counties over. There stood a small, secluded hot spring inn. This is the secret hot spring known only to insiders. It's going to be the highlight of the tour we're planning. We'll be staying here tonight. Oh, just so you know, this is strictly a site inspection as part of our work. I chose you because you happen to be in front of me. Reviewing the hot spring, enjoying a one-night stay with 2 meals, and writing a review. Surely you can manage that, so don't get the wrong idea. After giving me a stern look and emphasizing her point, Jessica walked into the inn without looking back. What are you doing? Hurry up and follow. Oh yes. Stunned, I stood there for a moment before hurriedly chasing after her. 2.5 hours later, I sat on a bench in front of the large public bath, waiting for Jessica to come out of the women's bath. She's late, isn't she? Surely let's meet here. Jessica had said before we parted ways to the men's and women's baths exactly 2.5 hours ago. I had come out of the hot spring about 20 minutes later. That means I've been waiting for Jessica here for over 2 hours. She said it would take time because she wanted to thoroughly check the quality and temperature of the spring. But 2 hours in that water. Having experienced it myself, I knew the water here was quite hot. I barely managed to stay in for 20 minutes, convincing myself, this is work. How could she stay in there for so long? She's amazing, Jessica. No, wait, could it be? Could she have gotten sick inside and be unable to get out? A bad thought crossed my mind. This is bad. Jessica, are you there? Are you okay? I got as close as I could to the entrance of the women's bath and called inside, but there was no response. My anxiety grew. Still, I knew that barging into the women's bath would cause a scene. That's it. I'll go get someone. Just wait a minute, Jessica. There should be some female staff at the front desk. Thinking this, I started running down the hallway. Almost at the same moment, I heard someone opening the door to the bath behind me. Oh, thank goodness. Wait. What? I turned around, thinking it must be Jessica. But what I saw was a man coming out through the curtain of the women's bath. You've got to be kidding me, he muttered as he quickly walked past me. As the man disappeared down the hallway, the door to the women's bath opened again, and finally, Jessica emerged. Chris, have you been waiting here all this time? Oh, yes. We agreed to meet here. I see. Well, you can go back to your room now. But what for? For some reason, Jessica was glaring at me, keeping a bit of distance and looking quite annoyed. However, I couldn't just say, okay, sure, and leave. Are you okay, Jessica? I'm fine. Nothing's wrong anywhere. Just go already. but it was obvious to anyone that Jessica was not fine at all. Her skin, from her face to her arms and ankles, was all bright red. Her steps were unsteady, and her eyes couldn't focus. "You don't look well. You're probably overheated from staying in the hot spring for so long." It's not like I wanted to stay in there. I had no choice because my underwear. Jessica paused. "Oh, nothing. Anyway, we're done here. Free time until dinner." Without thinking, I reached out as Jessica swayed heavily, collapsing into my arms. Pot. The small body I held was burning hot, as if on fire, and it was incredibly soft. "No, don't touch me," she muttered weakly. "This isn't the time for that. We need to cool you down immediately. Can you walk?" "I can't because, right now Jessica, usually so calm and composed, was mumbling weakly as I half-dragged her to my room. Her usual fitted shirt and skirt seemed to cling to her body more than usual, emphasizing her curves. But I didn't have the luxury to pay attention to that. I was driven by the thought that I had to help her. I cranked up the air conditioning and made her drink lots of water. As she rested, the redness gradually faded from her skin, returning to its usual clear whiteness. Her previously dazed eyes regained their focus. When I leaned in to check on her, Jessica's eyes flew wide open. "Ah, no, stay away." Startled by her sudden scream, I fell back on my rear. Jessica sprang up from the bed where she had been lying and quickly backed up against the wall. She hugged herself with her arms as if protecting herself from an enemy. "Don't come any closer. Don't look at me. Turn around right now." "Oh, why?" "Just do it." I couldn't argue with her fierce tone and turned around as ordered. Then Jessica started mumbling something. It was gone. What? My my underwear was gone. When I got out of the bath, it had disappeared from the changing room. What? Reflexively, I turned back despite her order. Our eyes met, and Jessica's face turned bright red again, as if she were overheating. "Don't look at me. Just look at the ceiling." "Yes, ma'am." "That's better." When I looked up at the ceiling, she seemed to relax a bit. She let out a long sigh and finally explained why she had been in the bath for so long. "The water was hotter than I expected, so I decided to get out fairly early. But then I realized my underwear was gone from the basket in the changing room. No matter how many times I checked, it was nowhere to be found, so I couldn't leave. But it was too cold to stay in the changing room, so I kept going back and forth between the bath and the changing room until I started feeling ill. Basically, that's why I'm not wearing any underwear right now." She confessed the shocking truth with a strained voice. "You can look now. Your neck must be tired," she said. Even so, after hearing her confession, I couldn't bring myself to look at her. Still staring at the ceiling, I asked about something that had been on my mind. "So when you say your underwear was gone, you mean it was stolen?" "I don't know. But there weren't any other guests besides me, so it's unlikely someone took it by mistake. I hate to think about it, but there's a possibility that there's an underwear thief in this inn," Jessica muttered bitterly. Hearing this, a memory suddenly came back into my mind. "Ah. What is it?" "Well, it was strange to see a man coming out of the women's bath." "What do you mean, Chris?" Jessica cornered me with questions, so I revealed it. I told her about the man I saw coming out of the women's bath just before she emerged. Jessica's eyes widened, and she pressed closer to me. "What did that man look like?" "He must be the underwear thief." "Think hard and remember. What did he look like? Even the smallest detail, please try to remember." As she shook my shoulders, I tried to recall the man's face. I grabbed the pen and notepad on the table and quickly sketched what I remembered. This is what he looked like. The moment I held up the notepad, Jessica gasped. "What?" She took the notepad with trembling hands and exclaimed in shock. "Chris, I didn't know you could draw so well." Well, it's about the only thing I'm good at. No, it's not just a talent. This is incredible. The wrinkles around his eyes, his teeth. It's like a photo. I had always been good at drawing. Many people had said my drawings were photo-like. But I had my reasons for not taking those words as compliments. And this outfit, isn't that the inn staff uniform? Oh, now that you mention it. Realizing this, I grabbed the notepad and headed to the front desk to explain the situation. As a result, the culprit who stole Jessica's underwear was identified. Indeed, it was a male employee of the inn. He had snuck into the women's bath to commit the theft, but couldn't leave because I had been waiting outside the bathhouse. He confessed to the manager that he had been the one stealing underwear repeatedly. The police were called immediately, and the inn became a bit chaotic. We are truly deeply sorry. After the male employee was taken away by the police, the inn president, accompanied by the head of the guest services department, profusely apologized to Jessica. They also offered to waive the entire cost of our stay as a sign of apology. And of course, we will provide the best service possible for the rest of your stay. Are you asking us to overlook this? No, that's not our intention. Then no, thank you. Let's go, Chris. Jessica curtly rejected their offer, looking like she had regained her usual composure. She walked straight toward the entrance without looking back. I hurriedly followed her, and we left the inn together. Maybe I did something wasteful. We had a chance to stay for free, Jessica murmured while driving down the mountain road. A slight smile appeared on her face for a moment. It was the first time I had seen her smile. It's a pity for you too, Chris. The food there is reputed to be delicious. No, I'm glad about your legs. After we left the inn, it seemed like your shaking stopped. When I said that, Jessica's mouth fell open in surprise, as if she had just realized her legs had been trembling. You really observe things, don't you? With that drawing and all, I have to admit, I'm impressed. Thanks, but it's the only thing I'm good at. Don't say that. With your drawing skills, you could succeed in that field. Why did you decide to work in the travel industry? Well, it's a long story. I see. Everyone has their reasons. I used to be lauded as the president's daughter and the future president, but now I'm living in near poverty. Speaking more casually than usual and with a softer expression, Jessica talked a lot. It was a side of her that probably no one at the company knew, and I realized she was deliberately putting on a cheerful facade. When we arrived at the hotel in town, Jessica said, "It's late, so let's stay here tonight. Is that okay?" Understood. I'll check if they have 2 single rooms available. Just as I was about to get out of the car, Jessica suddenly called out to me, "Wait." Huh. Not a single. A twin room. A twin room. After everything that happened, I'm still scared. Look, I'm shaking again. So please, Chris, just for tonight, stay with me. Her large eyes filled with tears as she looked straight at me. My heart skipped a beat, and I couldn't refuse her request. Can you draw me? Jessica asked as she relaxed a bit on the bed. Draw you? Is that a problem? Not a problem. It's just, I'm not good at drawing people. You're so good at it. Please, I want to know how I look through your eyes, Chris. Well, it wasn't that I wasn't good at it. It was more that I didn't want to, especially if the model was Jessica. My style couldn't capture her charm. But all right, I picked up the notepad from the side table and began to draw. After about 3 minutes, I stopped and handed the notepad to Jessica with a stiff expression. Here you are. Wow. Is this me? Her eyes sparkled as she stared at the drawing intently. I had drawn her smile from the car. It was the most memorable expression I had seen that day, but I wasn't satisfied with the piece at all. That's not my drawing. Huh. What are you talking about, Chris? I just saw you draw it. Jessica tilted her head in confusion, but her next words hit me hard. But it's true. This drawing feels different from the one earlier. The one earlier was almost like a photo, but this one feels softer and kinder. Ah, she had hit the mark. I had intentionally changed my style, and Jessica had noticed. I mimicked someone else's style for this. It's not my drawing, is it? Maybe this person. Jessica sat up and took her phone out of her bag. She turned it on and showed me the screen. Displayed on it was an artist's painting. This was for us a long time ago. It's my father, my mother, and me as a little girl. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, I was captivated by the perfection of the painting, the three of them facing each other, laughing joyfully. A moment of family togetherness, captured in delicate, intricate watercolors so soft and gentle that it made anyone who saw it smile. This painting always kept my family together. No matter how bad our fights were, just looking at this painting would bring back gentle feelings. We faced many crises, but this painting kept us from falling apart. Now, I keep it as my phone's wallpaper, and it comforts me whenever I'm going through tough times. Chris, the way you drew me looks a lot like the way I'm smiling in this painting. Did you learn to draw from this artist by any chance? No, that person never taught me to draw. In fact, I hardly remember talking to him because he never showed any interest in his own son. Jessica fell silent, shocked. Your father is? Yes, I'm the son of the artist. Robert. Robert? The watercolor maestro. He's known by everyone. He's won numerous prestigious awards internationally, and his paintings often fetch millions. Such a great man. But as a father, he was far from great. His delicate, gentle artistic style was the exact opposite of his stern, often harsh demeanor. He was taciturn and difficult, always frowning and locked away in his studio. He never took care of me, never took me out to play, and I don't even remember him smiling at me as a child. I often felt sad thinking my father loved his paintings more than he loved me. And yet, in the end, I followed in my father's footsteps. Did you love drawing? I don't know, but I couldn't imagine any other path. Maybe because I wanted my father to take care of me more than his paintings, I ended up watching him all the time. Naturally, I decided I wanted to draw for a living. And after graduating from art school, I got a job as an illustrator. But it led to the biggest disappointment of my life. They're just riding on their father's coattails. Such a letdown. Those words still echo in my mind. In the end, this setback caused me to leave the company, and at the same time, I vowed to myself I will never draw for work again. My father truly is great. I realized at my previous job that I'd never be able to draw like him, no matter how hard I tried. The best I could do was mimic his style. We're the same then. I wanted to be a business person like my father. At some point, Jessica had lain down on the bed, looking at me. In her hands, she held the portrait I had drawn, cradling it carefully. I wanted to expand the company, be respected by many employees. I always wondered how I could become like my father. One day, he told me that a great business person can control their emotions. No matter how happy or sad you are, you shouldn't show it in front of your subordinates. Jessica had followed this advice from her revered father to the letter, to the point where she couldn't genuinely smile anymore. Do you know my nickname? It's the Ice Queen. They say I'm always expressionless, never showing what I'm thinking, and it scares people. Instead of being respected, I'm kept at a distance. And my manager isn't going well. I've been so frustrated, I ended up taking it out on everyone around me. I'll never be like my father. She crumpled her face into a bitter smile. Then, she held up my drawing. I love your drawing, Chris. It encourages me. It makes me feel like I can still smile, like this. As she spoke, Jessica changed her expression. She lifted the corners of her mouth and narrowed her eyes, mimicking the smile in the drawing. Her smile was awkward but kind. Do you really see me like this, Chris? My heart started pounding, and my face grew hot. Yes, I think you're beautiful. You should smile more often. Really? She looked at me with wide eyes, surprised by my answer. That's not really an answer, Jessica said with a soft laugh. Her first genuine laugh. But if you say so, Chris, I'll try. I'll start by smiling more often. This time, she smiled even more naturally. Then, she yawned widely and, still smiling, closed her eyes. I'll go to sleep now. Good night, Chris. Yes, good night. I dimmed the lights and lay down on my bed. But that night, I couldn't sleep at all. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Jessica's gentle smile. After that night, Jessica began to change. She started smiling more at the office and proactively communicating with the employees. At first, the employees were confused, but they gradually accepted her new expressive self. A sense of unity grew within the company, with everyone determined to overcome the business crisis together. And there were other changes as well. Chris, did you see the response? This time is amazing. You're our company's savior. Ahaha, thanks. I responded with a wry smile to the praises from those around me. Recently, I had transferred from the administrative department to the advertising department. This was at Jessica's strong recommendation. She had bowed deeply, asking me to save the company from bankruptcy. Chris, your drawings always catch attention. I know what happened at your previous job, but I still want to ask you. Please, this is my plea. With such earnestness, I couldn't refuse. Breaking my vow to never draw for work again, I took on the task of designing the brochure. As a result, Jessica's prediction was spot on. The brochures I designed generated a huge response, especially on social media. This significantly boosted the company's visibility, leading to many inquiries and numerous tour bookings. For the first time since the company began to falter, there were signs of an improvement in the business. Thank you so much, Chris. It's all thanks to you. Jessica, now able to smile naturally, came to the office to express her gratitude. Her bright smile filled me with a warm feeling. A feeling I recognized as happiness. Jessica was happy because of my drawing. Acknowledging this happiness, I also felt a complex mix of emotions. It's not because of me, ha. Jessica must have realized it too. I was deliberately drawing in my father's style. And another reason for the attention was that the brochure was designed by the son of the famous artist, Robert. You're just copying scenes. That's not what I call art. My father had once criticized my drawing. In essence, he told me I had no talent. And here I was, mimicking my father's style again, thinking I really am just a second-rate imitation. Without my father's legacy, I wouldn't have been able to make Jessica smile. The more praise I received, the more I lost confidence as an artist. Then one day, an unexpected visitor came to see Jessica. Listen, if our company's designer handles it, it's guaranteed to go viral. Why not give it a try? Hearing the voice from outside the reception room, a chill ran down my spine. No way. Feeling a bad premonition, I couldn't help but press my ear against the door. Then I heard Jessica's firm voice resonate. I've said it many times, but no, thank you. I don't know anyone more talented than him. If he is as excellent as you say, why not use him at your own company? She was smiling, but I could tell she was definitely angry. Even through the door, I could imagine Jessica's demeanor vividly. As I hesitated with my hand on the doorknob, the door opened from inside. Sorry to bother you when you're busy, Chris. This gentleman says he knows you. Could you confirm? I stepped into the reception room and lifted my gaze. That's when I realized my bad feeling was right. Of course, it was Kevin. Hey, Chris. It seems like you're doing pretty well, but it's all thanks to your father. You're still riding on his coattails. The man grinned at me with an obnoxious smile. It was Kevin, a former colleague from the design company where I worked. He was in the sales department, and the one who had cemented my downfall back then. I was struggling with my work, even though I was hired as an illustrator. Every time I was given a task, my boss, Eric, would reject it. The reason was always my father. Your realistic drawings are excellent, but our clients want warmer illustrations like your father's, for example. Yes, everyone at the office knew that my father was a world-renowned artist. Even if they didn't say it outright, they all expected me to draw like him. The gentle and warm illustrations like my father's, which I struggled with. Those expectations gradually pushed me to the edge, and Kevin had noticed my struggle. "Hey, Daddy's boy, is it true you got the job because of your father's connections?" From a certain point, Kevin began to persistently pick on me. Daddy's coattails. A huge disappointment. The only failure of the great Robert. Every time we crossed paths, he would throw those words at me. Eventually, I lost confidence in the one thing I thought I was good at: drawing. My spirit completely broke, and I left the company as if running away. I saw the brochure. "Jessica, it's just a ripoff of Robert's work. He's only getting away with it because he's his son. But eventually, complaints will come in. You should change the person in charge before that happens. Replace him with someone truly talented, not just writing on their father's fame." Kevin was always good at hitting where it hurt. My father, who was indifferent to his child, but strict about art, must be furious right now, knowing that I've been imitating his style without permission. I started feeling that way. I worried that I was causing trouble for Jessica, who was working hard to protect the company. He might be right, Chris, as I lowered my gaze. Kevin, anticipating this moment, spread his documents on the table. "Here are some designers I highly recommend. They do honest work." Kevin eagerly introduced his company's designers, but Jessica interrupted him. "No, thank you. I have no intention of changing the person in charge." "What, you think his drawings are plagiarized? What exactly are you looking at to make that judgment? You must be blind." Kevin's face turned red with anger as he jumped up from the sofa. However, Jessica stood up. Before I could react, she grabbed the brochure from beside her and thrust it in front of Kevin's face. "This is a combination of Chris's realistic illustrations and the techniques he learned from Robert. In other words, it's a piece only Chris can create. We welcome any complaints, even from Robert himself, because I will give the same explanation. So, there's no need for your unnecessary concerns." Jessica's bold declaration blew away the anxiety that had been clouding my heart. I wasn't just a second-rate version of my father. I was creating something only I could. And more than anything, I wanted Jessica to recognize that. "You'll regret this. You'll wish you had cut ties with him later." With that parting shot, Kevin stormed out of the reception room, his shoulders bristling with anger. After the door slammed shut, Jessica looked up at me and smiled brightly. "Don't worry. No matter what happens, I'll protect you, Chris." "Thank you." It was a somewhat complicated declaration for a man to hear. A few days later, Kevin made his move. "This was delivered to me anonymously this morning," Jessica said as she handed me the document. As soon as I read it, I felt a shock that darkened my vision. Because it was the document accusing me of having relationships with multiple women simultaneously. It also claimed that Chris was embezzling company funds. These accusations detailed my supposed wrongdoings. That's not true. I know. I know your character better than anyone. I also know that these claims are baseless lies, and I have a pretty good idea who sent this. Kevin. I had the same suspicion as Jessica. Kevin's aim was not to damage my social standing, but to undermine Jessica's trust in me. I considered keeping this to myself and not telling you if I couldn't. Why not? Because it made me so angry. It infuriated me to think that you, who saved this company, were being disrespected by such a despicable person. Jessica clenched her fists, her voice and expression tinged with anger. At the same time, I saw tears welling up in her eyes, and I knew exactly what I needed to do. Let's fight back, Jessica. Chris, actually, I was thinking the same. But how? I have an idea. An eye for an eye. Jessica tilted her head in confusion at my words. The next day, I placed something I had prepared overnight in front of Jessica. Is this a photo? If it looks like a photo, then our plan is almost successful. We should send this photo to Kevin's company. Wait, this is a drawing. Jessica's surprise was understandable. What I had prepared was a drawing that I had painstakingly made to look as close to a photograph as possible, using all my skills. I created a piece with a level of detail that would fool anyone at a glance. For the first time, I felt grateful for my talent in realistic illustration. If we run it through a copier, they won't realize it's a drawing. Amazing. But the people in this, who seem so close, could it be? Yes, Kevin and some female colleagues from our previous company. Unlike Kevin's baseless accusations, this was based on fact. I simply drew what I saw and remembered. Hearing this, Jessica gasped. Oh, I've heard of this before, Chris. Could it be that you had a photographic memory? Yes, I nodded at Jessica's words. A photographic memory. It's the ability to instantly and vividly remember and retain everything seen. Since I was a child, I had an exceptional memory that astonished adults. I only learned it was called a photographic memory when I was about to enter the workforce. Once I see something, I never forget it. Even scenes I wasn't particularly interested in, I can recall and draw from memory. The one who had relationships with multiple women at the same time, as depicted here, is Kevin. Jessica didn't doubt my confident statement for a second. Following my suggestion, we ran the drawing through a copier, compiled it into a document, and sent it anonymously to the design company where I had previously worked. The results were beyond our expectations. Kevin, who was engaged to the executive's daughter, was questioned by his superiors and ended up confessing to cheating with several female employees. He even confessed to embezzlement, though no one had asked about it. Out of fear that someone knew everything, he muttered in terror, clutching his head. It seems there's someone who knows everything. Your photographic memory helped you when you saved me at the end, didn't it? After our successful retaliation against Kevin, Jessica spoke with a tone of understanding. She said it was an incredible ability, one too valuable to keep hidden. However, What's wrong, Chris? Seeing my uneasy expression, Jessica's face also clouded over. I revealed another secret I'd been keeping. I had a mild developmental disorder. It's often said that people with a photographic memory might have developmental disorders like autism spectrum disorder. I was one of them. Since childhood, I had difficulty communicating with others and struggled to keep up with school lessons. Even after getting a job, I had trouble understanding work instructions. Coupled with the extreme memory from my photographic memory, I was often seen as an oddball and spent most of my time alone. So, I knew that having a disorder would eventually be found out, even if I tried to hide it. At least I wanted to keep my photographic memory a secret. That's what I thought when I joined this company. And yet, you helped me. Suddenly, my hands felt warm, and I looked up. In front of me, Jessica was holding my hands gently and smiling. Thank you so much. Your talent saved me, Chris. Really? Yes, talent. A truly remarkable talent. It's because you, Chris, can use it correctly without flaunting it that you were gifted this ability by God. A wonderful talent. I had never thought of it that way. I had always believed that having a photographic memory meant living a life with more difficulties than others. I had even come to resent it, seeing it as a burden. But Jessica praised it as a talent. Is it really okay to think of it as a talent, to be proud of it? Of course, I fully support you. Jessica smiled brightly at me, and her figure blurred as tears filled my eyes. For a while, I couldn't stop crying as she held my hands. After that, Kevin, who had confessed to various misdeeds, had his engagement called off and was fired from the company. Incidentally, I also learned the reason why he had driven me out of the company. It was jealousy. He was supposed to be in the spotlight as an elite graduate from a prestigious university, but he was annoyed that I, the son of a famous artist, received more attention than he did. Now, rumors about him have spread throughout the industry, making it extremely difficult for Kevin to find a new job. I continue to be heavily involved in designing the brochures, further increasing the company's visibility. With the hard work of Jessica and my colleagues, the company is now stable and profitable. Jessica, who had tirelessly protected the company, officially took over as president. Under the leadership of the new, capable president, the company is expected to continue growing. And today, I'm facing a momentous occasion. It's quite a turnout. A voice called from behind me, making me turn around. There stood my father, someone I half expected wouldn't come. "Dad, you came." "I finished my work for now," he replied gruffly, folding the invitation I had sent him. Today was the day of my first solo exhibition. Through persistent work, I had gained recognition as an illustrator named Chris, not just as Robert's son. Finally, I had been invited by an art gallery to hold my own exhibition. "It's late, but I'm sorry for imitating your style without permission." Thanks to my father's presence, I was able to confess what had been weighing on my mind. His response was just one word: "Good work." That one word was enough. In fact, I had already learned from my mother about his true feelings. My father had always struggled with social interactions, and after learning about my developmental disorder, he didn't know how to relate to me and became more withdrawn. He had tried to connect with me through our shared love of drawing, but ended up saying things that sounded like he was dismissing my work, which he regretted later. He had even secretly collected all the brochures I had designed in his studio. "This is Chris's own work," I see my father murmured to himself as he looked at my drawings. For some reason, his profile looked happy. I felt the long-standing tension between us dissolve at that moment. I heard a voice calling my name, "Chris." A woman hurried towards me from a distance. It was Jessica, who had come despite her busy schedule as president. "Sorry for being late." "Congratulations." "Thank you. Is everything okay at work?" "I'll worry about that when I get back." Jessica's bright smile made me smile as well. When I turned to introduce her to my father, I was taken aback. "Please take good care of my son," my father said, bowing deeply to Jessica. "Dad." "As a colleague, of course." "Yes, I will," Jessica stammered, her face turning red. Jessica, for some reason, looked adorably cute with her blushing face. I, who never forget a single detail once seen, thought for the first time, I want to remember this moment forever. Years later, Jessica sometimes looks back with a nostalgic smile. She says that the misunderstanding back then actually helped her muster the courage to confess. "Thanks to your father, I was able to confess to you, Chris, so let's continue to take care of each other forever." A gentle smile graced Jessica's face, and the ring I had just given her glistened on her finger. Smiling back, I replied, "Likewise," and held the love of my life in my arms. After assisting a pregnant woman who had passed out at the station, I got at the venue barely in time for a big presentation I had on a pivotal morning concerning a $5 billion deal. One of my colleagues, who always saw me as a competitor, had already completed distributing the brochures at the location and was claiming credit for them. The head of the company called me the following day and gave me a pink slip. What does it mean to be late for a presentation of this importance? You say you were delayed because you assisted a pregnant mother. Stop lying. I'm not lying. My colleague spoke out after I attempted to defend myself. Well, sir, this guy never fails to find an excuse to skip work. I happened to cover for him this time, but it might have seriously harmed the business. You are aware of that. I detest liars above all. People like you are not needed in our organization. You've been fired. Fired? Next to me, my coworker grinned. Yes, my tardiness was my responsibility. Those who had denigrated me were unaware of how cruel it was to terminate me without conducting an investigation. No, this marked the beginning of the end for them. John Smith is my name. I work for a new business in the city. Despite being a beginning, the organization already has a reputation for being appreciative and performance-based. Even for someone like me, who only completed high school, the effort is substantial, but I lead a rather satisfying life as long as you have the drive and aptitude. Along with my coworkers Mike, Sarah, and others, I went to a familiar Western-style pub today to celebrate my team's excellent presentation. Four Seasons, a restaurant a short distance from the main street, truly serves delectable meals based on the seasons. Emily, the proprietress, is a young, attractive woman who enjoys a positive reputation among patrons and looks stunning in gowns. Naturally, the food is excellent here, and I really enjoy the chili beans at this pub. No matter how exhausted I am after work, just having a drink at this restaurant makes my exhaustion go away. It tastes like my mother's food from the past. I don't often see you here, John. Are your coworkers present as well? Yes, today our work went well, so I thought I'd like to have some delicious food to celebrate. Oh, I'm so happy. After that, I have to thank you for your ongoing support. As always, thank you. Emily handed a glass of water with a soft smile. Then Sarah sighed softly as she looked at the proprietress. The proprietress here is really beautiful, isn't she? How should I put it? She has that mature charm, right? Men must like women like the proprietress, right? Oh, thank you so much. If a young girl like you compliments me, I'm happy even if it's just flattery. Would you like something mixed as a token of appreciation? Saying that, Emily handed over a small dish. Here you go. It's free. Oh, it looks delicious. Watching the exchange between the two women, I took a sip of my beer with a smile. Suddenly, Sarah asked, John, do you also like women like the proprietress? I cleared my throat slightly and replied, well, I don't think there's a man who dislikes women like the proprietress, right? In response, Sarah, with a displeased look on her face, poured more beer into my glass. Oh well, I'm just a young guy with no special talents after all. Oh, come on. Aren't you already drunk without even drinking? I'll drink more. I'll drink as much as I want. After that, Sarah continued to interact with me in various ways. But one person who seemed unimpressed with it all was a male colleague named Mike. Mike graduated from a well-known university, and when we first joined the company, we worked well together. However, as soon as he found out I was a high school graduate, his attitude completely changed. He would delegate all the tedious work, like data collection and analysis, to me while taking credit for the easy tasks. Hey, John, I'll need those documents by tomorrow. Huh? By tomorrow? I haven't even finished the ones you asked for yesterday. Oh, come on. If you're a high school graduate who worked your way up, you've got the determination, right? Your only strength must be your physical stamina. He made such sarcastic remarks and pushed more work onto me. Sarah, my coworker, didn't seem to like Mike's approach, and she often complained, geez, he never does any of the hard work himself and just pushes everything onto John. Even though we're at the same level, he acts like he's superior. I'm sure he's just jealous because everyone at work likes John. Sarah, don't say that. I'll do my best in the areas where I can contribute. Oh, John is just too kind. Anyway, be careful not to overdo it. You might collapse if you push yourself too hard. Oh, thank you. I stayed late that day too and finished all the work assigned by Mike. I know Mike looks down on me for being a high school graduate, but I don't feel any shame about my education. That's because I chose to stop pursuing a college degree. My mom used to run a children's cafeteria in a separate building at home, providing free meals to children who couldn't eat properly. She was what you might call an interfering and big-hearted mother. After work, my dad would rush to the store to buy groceries, and I had been helping out since I was a child. Children from various circumstances would come to the children's cafeteria. Among them, there were siblings named M and JY who often visited. M's family was a single-parent household, and her mom worked multiple part-time jobs. For dinner, Em and her little brother, Jin, would split a hot dog in half and share it. Em and Jin always looked so skinny. I remember when my mom, out of concern, brought them to our cafeteria for the first time. Children need to eat a lot, play energetically, and sleep well. That's their job, right? My mom said with a hearty laugh as she served them a mountain of chili beans. It had been a while since they had eaten such warm food, so they kept saying how delicious it was and stuffed their mouths with rice. After that, the two of them started coming to our cafeteria every day, and we became as close as siblings. I'd wonder what M and JY are doing now. Are they doing well? I sometimes think about everyone as if they were real siblings. The children's cafeteria receives some donations as an NPO, but most of the expenses are covered by the management. My grandparents used to have a hobby of farming, so we often directly sourced ingredients from the farm. For me, an only child, it felt like having many little companions. Watching the young siblings enjoy their mother's cooking with smiles on their faces, even though they had been thin, made me happy. Amidst such a life, when I was in high school, my dad passed away due to illness. My mom considered closing the children's cafeteria, but I didn't want her to. So I gave up on going to college and started working. In the end, a few years later, my mother also followed my father, and the cafeteria had to be closed. However, I don't regret my choice. I love the smile on my mother's face when she ran the cafeteria. Even now, I occasionally reminisce about the mother who cooked happily and the children who ate her food with delight. I heard that the siblings were taken in by distant relatives. Lately, I've been wondering how they're doing now, and I find myself immersed in those thoughts more often. Mike emphasizes my lack of formal education, but I believe that having the ability to perform well at work is more important than education. So I decided to work hard without worrying about how much he mocks me. Since I finished the data analysis assigned by Mike quickly, I started preparing materials for tomorrow's planning meeting. In that meeting, our company will decide where to focus its efforts for a new genre of products, which will involve developing new business partners. In the end, during the meeting, we decided to handle products with a high sales rate, considering cost effectiveness. After that meeting, I was summoned by the manager. John, I'm thinking of introducing you to the president for the new product this time. It's about expanding to new business partners, so stay sharp. If it succeeds, it could be a deal worth at least $5 billion. Thank you very much, but $5 billion? It's a huge responsibility. As I pondered the weight of this significant task, Mike, who had attended the meeting with me, spoke up to the manager. Boss, why would you entrust such a big task to someone like John who lacks formal education? Isn't this the perfect opportunity for me? Mike made a self-promotion while belittling me a bit, and the department head raised an eyebrow. Well, this project will involve a large number of young people. In cases like this, it's better to have someone like John, who is trusted by those below him, to lead. Mike, I'd like you to cooperate with him. I see. Got it. Clearly dissatisfied, Mike didn't press the issue further, and we began preparing for the new presentation together. John, let's make sure it's a success. Okay. Yeah, let's do our best together. As I started working with my coworkers on the preparations, Mike, who had initially been uncooperative, eventually began to assist with tasks like creating documents without me even asking. Hey John, is it okay to insert this data on page 6? Yeah, sure. Please go ahead. At first, both Sarah and I were suspicious of Mike's silently assisting us without any complaints or sarcasm. However, due to his uncharacteristic cooperation, we gradually let our guard down, thinking he might have had a change of heart. Little did we know that this was a massive trap. Even though our team worked overtime together, we managed to create superb presentation material through collaboration. With confidence that this would undoubtedly lead to success, we eagerly awaited the day of the presentation. On the morning of the presentation day, I woke up earlier than usual to ensure I wouldn't be late as I was heading to the other company's office. However, it's precisely at times like these when troubles tend to occur. While heading to the station, I saw a pregnant woman with a large belly crouching down, holding her abdomen. She looked as if she were in pain, with sweat on her forehead. Although passers-by glanced at her due to it being rush hour, no one said a word. Unable to ignore it, I rushed over and spoke to the woman. "Are you okay?" The woman, upon hearing my voice, slowly raised her head and said with a teary voice, "My stomach hurts. Could it be contractions?" "Odd, yes," she nodded, her face contorted in pain. It seemed there was a nearby clinic where she usually received care. Despite still having some time before her due date, contractions had suddenly started. I quickly hailed a taxi and took her to the hospital. Soon after arriving at the hospital, one of her relatives rushed over. I wished her well and hurried to the presentation venue. Upon arriving at the presentation venue just before it started, I apologized to my team members. Looking around the room, I noticed that Mike had already distributed the materials. "Sorry, Mike, you saved me." "What are you talking about? We're a team now. Hurry up and prepare for the presentation." "Thank you." I rushed to prepare, and we managed to start the presentation right on time. However, as I progressed with the presentation, a murmur began to spread through the room. Soon after, someone from the client's company expressed their displeasure. The presentation materials and the projector's visuals don't match. What's going on? The data and materials is completely different from the estimates. Are you even organizing your data properly? Presenting with such sloppy data is an insult to our company. What are you thinking? As I questioned the heckling coming one after another, I checked the materials in my hands. To my surprise, the materials prepared by me were completely different from what was there. What does this mean? Beside me, Mike smirked softly. Then he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the earlier mistake in the materials I handed out." He distributed the correct materials that I had prepared in advance. Mike looked at me with a mocking smile and took the microphone, saying, "From this point on, I'll be responsible for the explanation." It was a $5 billion deal, and I had to leave the stage with a bitter feeling, making sure not to spoil the atmosphere. Mike's explanation was exactly the same as the script I had prepared. I'd been had. I clenched my fist with frustration. Mike probably had this plan from the beginning. He wanted to give the impression to the higher-ups that I was incapable, and that he was more competent than me. Although the presentation itself ended successfully thanks to Mike, my standing in the company had reached its lowest point. The guy who not only arrived late, but also messed up the presentation materials is unbelievable. That's my current evaluation. The next day, the president came to my department and gave me a stern reprimand. "What on earth were you thinking when you showed up at the presentation venue at the last minute? You presented with the wrong materials. You're bringing disgrace to our company. What were you thinking?" "I'm really sorry." After sincerely apologizing, I explained that I had been late for the presentation due to helping a pregnant woman in the morning, and that the presentation materials had turned out to be different from what I had prepared. However, it was at that moment that Mike intervened. "Boss, what John is saying is completely nonsense. This guy is all talk, always trying to manipulate everyone like this." Even the success of the previous presentation, the department had attributed it to John, but it was me who did all the data analysis. As for this issue with the materials, when I asked him if he was sure, he said yes. Based on my experience, I had a feeling that the data might be wrong, so I had prepared different materials just in case. Fortunately, they came in handy. Everything Mike was saying was pure fabrication. However, in the current situation, I knew that no matter what I said, the president wouldn't believe me. I clenched my teeth and swallowed my frustration. "Is that so? You're Mike, right? I heard you graduated from a prestigious university with outstanding grades. Well, it seems that your education wasn't in vain. Well done." If by any chance this deal hadn't gone well, our company would have suffered a significant blow. No, it's nothing. I just did what I had to do. I see. That humble attitude is commendable, but I've heard that John is considered a promising talent by the department head. I'm disappointed, and personally, I hate liars the most. Someone who is late for an important business deal and tells lies is not needed in this company. John, you're fired. Fired? I was taken aback by the sudden announcement of my dismissal. Then Sarah, who had been listening to our conversation behind me, tried to speak up to defend me. Boss, if I may. Sarah, it's okay. The president, who had been listening to our exchange, gave Sarah a stern look. Oh, so you're John's coworker, questioning my decision like this. Did he teach you not to follow the company's rules? It seems that high school graduates like you haven't been properly educated about societal rules. I realized that if I said more, it would only worsen her situation, so I instinctively spoke up to defend her. Boss, as you say, this mistake is entirely my responsibility. She didn't know the circumstances. I apologize. I see. If you understand, submit your resignation letter promptly and leave. Yes, got it. As the president left the room, Mike, who had been waiting behind me, spoke up. I guess people without education can't do anything right. Checking the materials before distribution is the basics of the basics. What the heck? Also, don't trust people blindly, and it's not a good idea to try to please everyone. It only leads to losses. Sarah, you have such a poor career. If she had joined my team from the beginning, I would have taken good care of her. No, I'd rather not receive any special treatment from someone who resorts to such dirty tricks. Is that so? You'll regret it later. I realized that this was Mike's true nature. I had always suspected that he looked down on me for being a high school graduate, but I never thought he would go to such lengths to undermine me. I would have done anything, whether it was data organization or analysis, if he had asked. Why did I have to be resented like this? The more I thought about it, the emptier I felt. The younger coworkers, including Sarah, were against my resignation, given what Mike had done and the president's decision. However, in our company, the president's orders were absolute. Unless there was a compelling reason, there was no way to overturn a resignation. I calmed everyone down and decided to use up the accumulated paid leave starting the next day. I had been with the company for a long time, but once my paid leave was over, it would be time to say goodbye. That night, I stopped by the familiar small bar called Four Seasons. Tears welled up in my eyes as I was greeted by Emily with her usual gentle smile. She looked surprised to see me like that, but I think she sensed there was a reason behind it. Here today, I'll treat you. Okay, drink to your heart's content and forget about your troubles, she said. Emily, I got fired from the company. Oh my. Well, it must be for a good reason, right, John? Yeah. Well, do you remember that coworker Mike who came here with me the other day? Oh yes, I remember. He got me good. I told her about how I had encountered the pregnant woman in labor that morning, how I had taken her to the hospital, and how I had fallen into Mike's trap. I see, but John helped a pregnant woman and her child, right? Isn't that amazing to take the right course of action as a human being? It's a dark future for a company that fires someone like that. On the contrary, maybe it's a good thing you left early. Do you think so? Yes, Johan. I'm sure you'll find a new job quickly. Emily, thank you. But I might be unemployed for a while, so I won't be able to come here. Oh, don't say that. If it's you, John, you're always welcome here. In fact, I'd even treat you for free. That's funny, Emily. That's a bit too much, but I appreciate your kindness. Thank you. It's okay. I'm sure good things will come your way. My instincts are surprisingly accurate. Emily's smile made me feel warm. Then, about 2 weeks later, my home intercom rang. I couldn't think of anyone who would visit my house other than a delivery person, so I went to the door. To my surprise, Emily was there. Emily, what brings you here? John, long time no see. Are you doing well? Actually, someone really wanted to meet you, so I got the address from Sarah and brought that person here. Someone who wants to meet me. Yes, this is Olivia Davis. She's the one you helped 2 weeks ago. Oh, the one from that time. Are you okay now? Yes, thanks to you. I was saved that day. My child was born healthy as well. It's all thanks to you. I'm really grateful. Saying that, Olivia held my hands. I see. I'm glad your baby was born safely. When I responded, her expression suddenly darkened. But I heard that you lost your job because you helped me. What a terrible company, questioning their president's judgment. Well, it's all in the past, Olivia. You don't need to worry about it. No, I can't let it go. The person who saved my life and my child's life is facing such an unfair situation. I can't just stand by and do nothing. Can you tell me more about it? In response to her strong request, I explained everything that had happened up until that point. Now that I thought about it, it had been a while since I had talked to so many people recently. In that case, John, I think I can help too. Really? I actually came across an interesting idea. So if we're going to get back at them, I have a good plan in mind. What do you mean? After that, we discussed various things about the future. By the way, John, have you been eating properly lately? With that, Emily offered me a lunchbox filled with fried chicken and hamburgers that are often served at the small bar. People need to eat well, or they won't have the energy for what lies ahead, you know. So eat up and prepare yourself for the future. Emily, thank you. You're welcome. By the way, John, I heard that you gave my restaurant's business card to Olivia, when she asked for your contact information at the hospital. Oh, that's why Emily came to my house with Olivia. Yes, that's right. You're surprisingly absent-minded, aren't you? Sorry. I laughed it off, but the truth was I felt so embarrassed that my face turned red. The fact was, I was a fan of the Four Seasons and Emily, both in name and reality. I had been carrying the Four Seasons business card as a kind of talisman with me all the time. In my hurry to get to the presentation and worried about being late, I had accidentally handed the Four Seasons business card to Olivia when she asked for my contact information. I realized that the reason I couldn't find that business card after being fired from my job was that I had given it to Olivia by mistake. However, as a result, I gained strong allies in Olivia and Emily. Sometimes, things work out for the best. Oh, Olivia, do you still have that business card with you? Yes, look, I've been carrying it with me carefully. Could you exchange it with my business card? What is that? When Emily asked, I stammered but gave an honest answer about my feelings. I really love your bar, Emily. No matter how tired I am, the moment I step into your place, I feel refreshed. So your business card is like my mental stabilizer, or charm. Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. In response, Emily blushed with a smile. Then, until John joins the new company and comes over here confidently, I'll deliver our meals for you. Huh. Oh my, John, you can't refuse an offer from a woman, you know. Olivia gave me a lukewarm look and scolded me. Blushing, I thanked Emily. On my last day off, I went to the office. Then, the manager hurriedly called me over. Hey, John, Mike, and those who were involved in the presentation the other day, come to the president's office quickly. Mike seemed puzzled as to why he was called, but I somehow felt like I could see the future where this would all be resolved. Well, it might be nice to see you scolded by the president for the last time. Mike grinned defiantly. In my mind, I stuck out my tongue at him. When we went to the president's office, there were pale-faced president and the president of our business partner. Oh, John, about your resignation, I want you to forget it. The president told me first. Huh. Boss, what happened all of a sudden? Today is my last day at this company. No, it's about the $5 billion deal we made the other day. The president of the other party really wants you to be in charge. If you don't take charge, he says he'll cancel the deal. The president stammered with his excuses. Mike quickly retorted, Boss, what are you saying? You said we don't need a liar like him in our company. What happened to leaving the responsibility for this deal to me? You shut up. This is not the time for that, the president snapped. Then the president's business partner, who had been listening to the conversation on the other side, spoke up. Why did you call John a liar? Because he's saying that, because the other day during the presentation, he lied about you helping a pregnant woman and being late for the presentation, right? Oh, John, was it a lie that the reason for your lateness was helping someone in labor? No, it's true. I was late to the presentation because I couldn't move due to the start of labor pains, so I took a taxi to the regular hospital. I see. So, what kind of woman did you help? Yes, she was a woman in her 20s named Olivia Davis. She said the baby was born safely, so she came to my house the other day to thank me. I see. My granddaughter was just born the other day too. It's quite a coincidence. Besides, my daughter also had labor pains suddenly at the station and was taken to the hospital by a kind man. His name was John Smith, right? Huh. The business partner's president laughed joyfully as if he had successfully played a prank. Well, Davis, does this mean that John saved your daughter? Yes, that's right. The person who saved my precious daughter and grandson from being called a liar and losing his job can't be helped. So, I can't stay silent. Then Mike said with a bitter face, Still, even if that's the case, isn't it entirely personal to say that he should be in charge? He's a good-for-nothing who made a mistake with the presentation materials. Shouldn't we consider helping people and work abilities separately? Oh, really? Do you think he's a good-for-nothing? Yes, that's right. He's just a high school graduate and a good-for-nothing who can do his job. When Mike yelled loudly, Sarah, who was also in the president's office, raised an objection. Boss, I have a report about the incorrect data distributed during the presentation. What is it, Sarah? What do you have? Yes, the person who created the incorrect data during the presentation was Mike. I confirmed it by checking the properties and logs of the materials used for printing, so there is no mistake. It is also confirmed that John was the one who created the correct materials that were distributed later. What? So you're saying that Mike was the one who lied from the beginning? Yes, that's right. With Sarah's testimony, Mike turned pale, and Davis added salt to the wound further. Moreover, it seems that he paid the part-timers in our company to act as bystanders just to frame John. Oh, boss, what are you talking about? Mike flustered, trying to deny it, and Davis said with amusement, I was also at the presentation place, so I felt something was strange. The young people who usually don't make a fuss about incorrect materials were making an unusually big fuss that day. I scolded them later for their lack of manners. At that time, I heard about John from my daughter. When she said that she heard about it, I thought something was wrong. So I asked them. Then they easily admitted that they had received money from you and were asked to make a scene to make it seem like John was at fault. My, you bastard. What the hell did you do? That means that John has been doing my work up until now. That's why work has been slow lately. Still, that's not true. I'm more capable than this high school graduate. But everyone, they just keep praising John Chan. We don't need someone like him at our company. I'm the one who thinks about the company from the bottom of my heart and devotes myself to it. It was when Mike shouted so loudly, "That's a big fat lie," that suddenly the door to the president's office opened. From there, Olivia, and for some reason, Emily in a suit entered. What? Olivia and Emily? I was surprised. Olivia, dressed as a full-fledged career woman, gave me a light wink, and the next moment, she glared at Mike. Nice to meet you. I am Olivia Davis, vice president of Davis Company. I was the one who was helped by John here the other day. This time, I have come to expose Mike's fraudulent dealings. Mike is involved in fraud. Even the president seemed surprised by this. In this business negotiation, our representative, Christopher, was approached by your Mike for padding the bill. It was a deal where the profits would be split if it went well, and he already brought a padded invoice. The amount is $110,000 with a plan of $55,000 per person. However, he was consulting with me about what to do at the last minute, so him serving your company. That's a big lie, isn't it? Lies? It's a mistake or something. I don't know any guy named Christopher, the panicked Mike retorted. This time, Emily, still in a suit, told him off. Oh dear, Mike and Christopher often come to our store, don't they? They were even here last night, weren't they? Look, the video of you two together is on this smartphone, she said, showing a video of the two of them on her smartphone. So all you have to do is do as I told you, and you'll get $110,000 in one go. That's a big profit, isn't it? The video showed Mike and Christopher with their arms around each other in a hushed conversation. This video was so incriminating that no further evidence could be found. I shot this video because they were talking about something so dangerous. Mike comes to our store and bothers the other customers with his overbearing attitude, and even if I tell him I don't like it, he keeps pestering me. I thought it would be a good idea to have this on hand in case trouble ever arose. The eyes of Emily, who exposed this, were not smiling at all. You bastard. You guys are making fun of me, aren't you? Is this high school graduate really that great? I'm an elite graduate from a famous university. Why? Why? Shut up. What are you saying? It's all your fault. You're the one who's fired. The president, his face turning red with anger, shouted at Mike. Upon hearing the commotion, a security guard arrived and restrained the loudly shouting Mike. He was then ordered to suspend himself from work at home. So what do you want to do? Do you still want to work for this company? When asked by President Davis, I shook my head decisively. No, I don't intend to return to this company. Why not? John, please come back. No, boss. At first, I thought this was a wonderful company that would give even a high school graduate like me a chance. However, with this incident, I've realized that it's not like that. I want to work in a place where I can make better use of my abilities. That's right, isn't it? John has that value. You should excel in a new environment. Yeah, with my authority as vice president, I want to hire John at our company. Is that okay? Honestly, this was a godsend. I had heard about the company from her the other day and thought it sounded like an interesting company. Oh, I was going to hire him before you told me. Thank you, Dad. So that's why, please continue to take care of me, John. Yes, thank you very much. And so, I ended up working for Davis Company, which has branches all over the world. I am now in charge of the import department and import various items from overseas. I have a family relationship with Olivia, and her son Michael, who was born at that time, is already good friends with me. Since then, Mike has been fired, and the 5 billion yen deal has been canceled. As a replacement, the cosmetics that were supposed to be purchased from the previous company are now imported by me from overseas at a low cost for Davis Company. It has not been a loss, but a profit of 10 billion yen, and Vice President Davis is in a very good mood. As for me, I have also become acquainted with Emily in places other than her bar. But to be honest, she is on my case today too. I had 4 seasons. I enjoy delicious dishes she has prepared while savoring fine wine. It's my blissful time. And recently, there is another woman who has become a regular customer at this store. That is the woman who is now guzzling champagne in front of me. Sarah, a former coworker. Oh, I finally transferred to Davis Company and was thinking of getting closer to John, but I was too late. I'm so frustrated. Yes, she followed me to Davis Company. From a woman's perspective, she has a reputation for procurement, and now she has become a respectable buyer. But it makes sense that I can't possibly compete with you, Emily. I'll work hard to become a wonderful woman like you and find an even more wonderful man than John someday. Oh, Sarah, I think you're wonderful just the way you are. Thank you very much. Well then, another glass of the recommended champagne. Hey, you drank too much already. As I was chiding Sarah for saying so, Emily laughed and held out a small plate of fried chicken in front of me. While eating it, I praised the food. Once again, your cooking, Emily, it's really all my favorite. Or rather, it's nostalgic. Is that so? I'm glad you like it. But isn't it natural for you to like my cooking? John, huh? Why? Hey, after all this time together, you still can't remember. Johnny Itch. That nickname. Are you? That's right. I'm or rather Emily Parker. I see. You've become so beautiful that I didn't recognize you at all. You used to come to my mother's children's cafeteria every night when I was a child. So, how is my little brother Jin doing now? Oh, come on. Johnny, you meet him often, don't you? He's our chef. Jin H. That Jin with the stern buzz cut. That's right. Johnny must be surprised, right? The scrawny guy has turned into a muscular gorilla. There's no trace of his old self, but it's all thanks to your mom that we've come this far. Our mom's cooking is just like your mom's, Johnny. We're really grateful for that. Is that so? No wonder your meals, always have that nostalgic taste for us. Rice is linked to happiness. When we were hungry, we felt really sad and didn't feel like doing anything. But when we ate a full meal at the children's cafeteria, we became happy and slept well at night. Jin said the same thing. So Johnny's mom was the one who gave us happiness. After my mother passed away and I was taken in by my grandparents, I could finally eat properly, but I always remembered the meals here. I wanted to become someone who could make such a kind and delicious meal someday, so I worked hard. Yeah, now you can make that taste perfectly, right? M's cooking is really delicious. I'm glad. Someday, I want to save up money and start a children's cafeteria too. That's right. Your dream will definitely come true. In the past, it was a children's cafeteria that relied on donations, but now even major convenience store chains have entered the children's cafeteria scene. Leftover lunchboxes and snacks that were supposed to be disposed of. There are many children who consider themselves happy just by having those fill their stomachs. However, a warm meal prepared with care can also warm a person's heart. She wants to create such a warm children's cafeteria. I know how challenging it can be, so I want to help her in any way I can. For that, I hope to find a way to source affordable ingredients from overseas someday. It's a mysterious bond created by warm meals. It's also a bond that my mother established with her generous meddling and warm smile. I truly want to cherish this important bond forever.